So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Can back here, BSN Network. This is the BSN Network podcast here today. It is Thursday, July 8th. Hopefully everybody's having a day so far and a good rest of their day yesterday. It is, in fact, Thursday, July 8th here today, coming off of another big night, big day, I should say, in sports yesterday. Obviously, the Yankees get the win. Lightning win the Stanley Cup. Mets had a day game, so they got that win. They ended up losing the second game of the series, or the second game of the doubleheader. And obviously, the New York Yankees get the win against the Seattle Mariners. Today, we go for the sweep. And we've already won the series, so that's a very positive thing. And the Lightning also won the Stanley Cup Finals yesterday. They won 1-0 yesterday in Game 5 of the series. They won 1-0. And, I mean, you look at Vasilevsky. He had a series to remember. He had a game yesterday to remember. A shutout to win it all is just something else. And obviously, Lightning team who weren't able to get the job done in Montreal, they were able to get the job done. Last night back in Tampa, back on their home ice. They got it done in front of their home crowd, and really well played hockey game by the Lightning. A really hard fought game by the Lightning, and I should say a hard fought game by the Canadians too. I mean, to hold Lightning, that good offense, to a one goal game. And, Carey Price did everything he could. I mean, he went out, he fought, he made a couple really good saves. He did everything he could. At the end of the day, it's tough to win a game when you don't score any goals. And the Canadians, got shots on goal. They got chances. They were not able to capitalize. And, the Lightning as well. They got chances as well. They capitalized on one and at the end of the day, that was enough. They got 22 shots on goal, the Canadians, and Tampa had 30 shots on goal. And, they had 30 shots on goal, and they made one of them. And at the end of the day, that's how hockey is. That's how baseball can be. That's how hockey can be. One run can make a difference in baseball. One goal can make a difference in hockey. It's a little different in football and basketball because high scorers. You could say the same thing in football. One touchdown can make a difference. A field goal can make a difference. Basketball could be one three-pointer. It could be a one, run where you're on 9-0 run. It can make a huge difference in a season, in a game. And the Lightning got the win yesterday. Yankees also got the win yesterday, like I mentioned. Feeling very happy today as a Yankee fan. With everything we're going through, we're still not to the ability that we want to be. We're still not where we are. I mean, we won 2 straight. That's what the Yankees are supposed to do. But, record-wise, we're still not, playing to our abilities. But I'm really glad the Yankees got the win yesterday. It's one of these things, again, where, are the Yankees fooling us? They go for the sweep today. If they sweep the Mariners today, they then head to Houston tomorrow for a 3-game set against them before you head into the All-Star break. And you have an opportunity here to at least, if you can at least take 1 or 2 from Houston, you start thinking to yourself about a sweep today. You're like, okay, we finished 5 and we were 5-1 on the road trip. You head into the All-Star break. After everything that happened over the weekend against the Mets and the Chapman blown save and you losing the series and all that stuff, then you go into even last week, you go into the Angels and you go into blowing those games and not winning that series and doing terrible, the player-only meeting, all that. With everything that gone on, if you go into this All-Star break with at least a 4-2, 5-1 record, or 6-0 if you sweep Houston and win today's game, and I don't know if that's going to happen, all of a sudden, all the negativity that happened kind of just is out of the equation. You go into the All-Star break and you go into the second half of the season on a fresh start. And, it's good to see the Yankees winning. It's good to see the Yankees winning these games. It's good to see us putting up runs. It's good to see us hitting the ball. It's crazy what this offense could do when they hit in big moments, situational hitting. Long ball always helps. Judge had a home run last night. So, good win for the Yankees. And top to bottom right now, we are hitting so far in this series. And, it's good. We got to keep it up, though. We can't go on this 6-game stretch and then come out of the All-Star break and lose 6 of our next 8. We got to find a way to keep this up. And the Yankees have struggled with that this season. We were stretches, that A's Royals stretch, right? Or that stretch there where we were 7-2. That was a big stretch. Then you go to Boston, you get swept. The Angels, you lose. Mets, you lose the series. The Yankees got to continue these stretches. Right now, we're on a 3-game win streak, actually, and we're playing better baseball. So, Yankees got the win yesterday. They played today, 4 o'clock game today. Obviously, a travel day for the Yankees, so they will make that an earlier game. And with that being today's game at 4 o'clock, that is the final game of the 3-game set. Yankees go for the sweep today. Like I mentioned, Mets got the one win yesterday. They lost the I said opposite. They won the first game on a Jeff McNeil walk-off, and they lost the second game of the series of the doubleheader. So they still, they still won the first game and stuff like that. And I believe they still got the series win. Let me check. I do believe they still won the series. Let's see. I do believe they won the series. Let's see. Yes, they did win the series. Okay, I just wanted to double check that they won on Monday. So they still got the series win. Now they open up today a series against a Pirates team that has struggled this season. So an opportunity for the Mets to grab a couple more wins. But let's get to the topics for today's podcast. As always, another packed podcast ahead of us. Like I mentioned just a couple minutes ago, the Tampa Bay Lightning have won the Stanley Cup. So my first topic will be Lightning win the Stanley Cup, and I'm going to get into just how they won it, their success this season, just how good they were, and like I mentioned, previously throughout the playoffs, like I've mentioned throughout the season, this Lightning team's no joke. I know a lot of people didn't believe in them. I know a lot of people thought, how they ended the year was, kind of a little bit of a, an early prediction of how their playoffs are going to go. They had to go up against a team in Carolina that everyone thought was going to make a deep run. And at the end of the day, the Lightning, hoist up the Stanley Cup trophy for the second straight year in a row. And again, this is a team with Nikita Kucherov, Braden Point, Steven Stamkos, Andrei Vasilevsky. It's a team that is stuck together, that continue to play well together, and a team that is night in and night out one of the best hockey teams out there. I know you might say, the Avalanche and the Knights and teams like that. The Lightning are just like that team that they're always in it. The Lightning are once again win the Stanley Cup. I'll get into that. Then I'll get into the Home Run Derby bracket. The Home Run Derby bracket got released. I thought it's interesting how they seeded some of the players. I know they seed them off of all the home runs and power and all that stuff, but I want to get into the bracket, kind of give you my thoughts on it, maybe give you a little bit of who I think could win. I haven't really predicted who could win yet. I have a couple players in mind that I do think could win, and get into that because I think that's cool. I think it's exciting. I'm pumped up for the Home Run Derby. Always a fun event to watch. It gets you hyped up too because you got the Home Run Derby, the night before the All-Star break. It's like the start off to the festivities. You got the Home Run Derby, you got all that. You got that whole night of hitting home runs and launching balls, and I think it's going to even be more fun this year that it's in Colorado because Colorado, obviously the thin air. Balls are going to be traveling a whole lot more than if they were in another venue. So I think it's going to be exciting. I think there's going to be a lot of really long home runs, and I think there's going to be a lot of really exciting moments in the Home Run Derby, and there's a lot of players in this Home Run Derby that have some electric bats. Matt Olson, Joey Gallo, Juan Soto, obviously the number 1 seeded Ohtani. A lot of guys in here, they got electric bats. So I'll get into that. Then we'll get into the New York Sports Update, finish off the podcast. With the New York Sports Update, Yankees played their third game of the 3-game set today against the Mariners. They've already won the series, but you go for the sweep today. The Mets open up a series against the Pirates, and and obviously Stanley Cup, stuff like that. That's done. Suns-Bucks game 2 tonight in Phoenix. So that's a big game tonight. Because if the Suns win tonight, all you got to do in Milwaukee is at least find a way to win one. You come back game 5, an opportunity to win it at home. If the Bucks won tonight, totally different story. And that's kind of interesting because today they have a game, then they have day off tomorrow and Saturday, then they play again on Sunday. So they have 2 days off, so an opportunity to rest a little bit before that next game. But with all that being said, that will do it for the introduction here. And this is the BSN podcast, and let's get into it. So, yes, the Tampa Bay Lightning are your 2021 Stanley Cup champions as for the second straight year in a row. They have found a way to win it all, and this team just continues to battle. This team continues to go out and play excellent hockey, do things that, are just simply amazing. Andrei Vasilevsky continues to go out and play amazing, and I think yesterday he secured his spot as one of the best, if not the best goalie in the NHL with the shutout in Game 5, and they continue year in and year out with this team to just play good, and they play good and play good and play good and play great, and they continue to just play excellent hockey. This is a team that's so consistent when healthy. They are not easy to beat at all. They are a very hard team to beat, and they are a very physical team. They are a team that is really good with the puck and a very good team defending the puck. And that's part of the reason with their goaltender Vasilevsky. And obviously, it makes sense that he won the MVP trophy for the series. He was amazing. You could have said, put it to Kucherov, give it to Point, maybe Stamkos. But at the end of the day, Vasilevsky, well-deserved. He deserves it throughout the playoffs. He was amazing from round 1 until last night. He was amazing night in and night out. Had an excellent playoff. And I think last night secured that he is the best goalie in the NHL. And I know I said a couple weeks ago that it was Marc-Andre Fleury and stuff, and he won obviously all that trophy. But I think last night, and I've changed my stance on this, and that's okay. I'm allowed to change my stance. But I do believe that last night, I have changed my stance. Andrei Vasilevsky, I believe, is the best goaltender in the NHL. And I think last night secured that conversation. I think last night shut any speculation down about that. And I do strongly believe that the Lightning's goaltender, Vasilevsky, is the biggest reason why they won this series. Now, sure, they were big, blocking some shots. They were big in physicality. They were very physical in Game 4. Part of the reason was because of the Canadians were very physical in Game 4. But they were very physical. And the Canadians, don't get me wrong, they got good opportunities on net. There was a couple moments there throughout the series where they got, they got a couple really good one-timers. They got a couple really good, they made that extra pass and they were able to shoot it. And they made a couple good looks. They got a couple really golden opportunities. They took advantage of it a little bit in Game 4. They had some more opportunities. I noticed the Canadians in Game 4 brought the physicality from the start of that game. They brought it all the way to the finish. Last night, I noticed that the Canadians did not bring as much physicality. They were still physical. They were still hitting. They were still trying to grab the puck. They were still putting their bodies on the line because they knew, this is it. We lose tonight, our season's done. And obviously, same thing with the Lightning. If the Lightning win, their season's done. But it's a whole lot easier to end your season as champions than end your season losing in 5 games. Losing in any matter. 7 games, 4 games, 5 games, or 6 games. Losing stinks. It's not a good feeling. It's a terrible thing, losing. As I always say, I hate losing more than I love to win. But back to my point here with the Canadians is I noticed, in that Game 4, they brought the physicality. And I do believe that, not that the Canadians weren't physical in the first 3 games. Game 1, Game 2, Game 3. Not that I believe they weren't physical. Game 3 was not a good game for the Canadians. They lost 6-3. Carey Price was not good. Not a good game by the Canadians. I think after that game, Game 3, and they were down 3-0, I think they realized, hey, we need to bring it Game 4. And I don't know if this is the truth. I don't know if I'm lying. I might be lying. I have a feeling that the Canadians just put it all out on the line in Game 4, that there just wasn't enough gas left in the tank to get the job done in Game 5. And, that was a clear, I think that was a clear thing. Because the Canadians last night, they did show signs of, not fatigue, but they showed signs of not being the team that we've seen all throughout the playoffs. Now, that could also be because they were playing against the Lightning. But, I noticed that Game 4, where they brought the physicality, they were physical, they were hitting, they were talking, they were getting shots on net, they were playing really good defense, they were making the Lightning in a way play a neutral zone type game, where they have the puck up, and they get it stolen, and they have the puck up, and they make that extra pass, and they cut it off. Last night, I noticed that the Lightning, from start to finish, just kind of controlled that game. Now, sure, were the Canadians physical? Sure, did the Canadians get chances? Yes, they did. But I think after the Lightning scored that one goal, you're kind of sitting there thinking, I don't think the Canadians are coming back. Number one, you got, I think, the best goaltender. I think he secured the conversation in the NHL in Vasilevsky. right? I think you get that. So, him letting up 2 goals, I just don't know if that's possible. And then, which is possible, but you get what I'm saying. How the game was going, how the chances the Canadians were getting, how the Lightning were playing. I think it was kind of clear that the Lightning, were the better team last night. And, I think you kind of noticed as the clock started to tick down in the third period, the Lightning just started to try to make, get shots and opportunities, try to get something going their way, and they just never were. And last night was one of those games where it's one of those games, as they call it, the puck was just coming your way. That's how I felt if you're the Lightning. The bounces went your way, you got the opportunities, and this is how the NHL is. One goal is the decider of winning a Stanley Cup and not winning a Stanley Cup. That's how it was last night. One goal. And we've been saying this for the longest time now. I've said it throughout the series. I don't know if I've said it on this podcast, but watching the games, I've said it. If the Canadians really want to win, you're going to have to find a way to strike first. You're going to have to find a way to get out to an early lead. You're going to have to find a way to push the tempo early. You're going to have to find a way to put the pressure on the Canadians, or the Lightning. Because I said it going into last night's game. This is a big game for the Lightning. If the Lightning lose tonight, or last night rather, it puts all the pressure on them to go out and win Game 6. Because if the Lightning then don't win Game 6, your Game 7, the Lightning have all the pressure. You're 1 game away from blowing a 3-0 lead. So last night, if the Lightning, I think, realized that, hey, we got to step up. We lose tonight, we have to go back to Montreal, and that turns into like a must-win game because you cannot possibly have this game go to 7 games. And sure enough, the Lightning stepped up to that challenge, stepped up to the plate, and got the win last night, 1-0. And my prediction was 1 shy of getting to Game 6. I had the Lightning winning in 6. My prediction was 1 shy. But I said at the beginning of the series, right? I'm a Ranger fan. I've been a Ranger fan my whole life. I always say this. I'm the fan of the team that I'll root for, right? I don't have any second favorite teams. I don't have a third favorite team. I don't have a fourth favorite team. I do have least favorites. Like, I can't stand the Patriots. I can't stand the Red Sox. Not really. I don't really like any Boston sports team. Don't like the Red Sox. Don't like the Patriots. As a Kentucky fan, I can't stand Duke. As a Ranger fan, can't stand the Bruins. I don't like the Devils. I don't like the Flyers. I don't like a lot of those teams. But I said going into this series, me being a Ranger fan and me being a fan of, a team that wasn't in it, a team that didn't even make the playoffs, I said going into the series that, I was just hoping for a good series, and I said I think the story would be cool for both teams to win it. Because the Lightning, if they win this series, I said I think it would be cool to see them win back-to-back. And I also said if the Canadians win, I said I think it would be cool to see them win their first title in 28 years, and also win it in the fashion they did, coming in as the worst team in the playoffs, almost going to, coming back from 3-1 in the first round and making your way all the way to the Stanley Cup. Like, I thought that story would have been cool too. So that's what I just wanted to say. Like, I wasn't really rooting for any particular team in this series. I was just hoping for a good series. I was hoping for a lot of good hockey. Deep down inside, I would have loved to see this series go to 7. Game 7, Canadians Lightning, I think that would be a lot of fun. Game 7 is the 2 best words in sports. There's the 2 best words in sports. Game 7. Win or go home for both teams. Right? That wasn't the case, but, Lightning were the better team. And, I know a lot of people don't like the Lightning. I know a lot of people don't like Tampa. I have a lot of respect for the Lightning. This is a team that plays the right way. This is a team that goes out, plays really hard. They're physical. They shoot the puck. They're a talented team. I respect the way the Lightning play their game. I really do. I know a lot of people don't like them. I know a lot of people say, oh, this roster, I know a lot of people don't like all the players on the roster and don't like, just don't like Tampa in general, which I'll understand why. I could give you that in a little bit here. But I think there's a lot of respect for the Lightning. I really do. And I'll always say that. Stamkos, he's been in the league for a while. He's been around for a while. Guy who, I think it's cool to see him, have some success now as well. guys like Kucherov. I mean, that's an amazing story. I mean, a guy like a Kucherov this season, that's an amazing story with, him having the hip injury the entire year, missing the entire season, coming back for, the second round, I believe, of the playoffs, right? Because they played the Panthers, or the Hurricanes, rather. Or was it against the Panthers? It might have been against the Panthers. I don't know. But he came back for the playoffs after hip surgery, and he had an amazing playoff. And he had an amazing Stanley Cup as well. And you got guys like Braden Point, and, a guy like a Vasilevsky and Net, who has had an amazing season, and this was just the cherry on top. I feel like with everything that went on with the Lightning this year, just the 56 games, the weird season, all the protocols, all the COVID stuff, all that, to put the cherry on top, this has to be very, very satisfying if you're the Tampa Bay Lightning. And another thing is they win it on their home ice. Last year they won it in a bubble. This year they were able to win it on their home ice. So they get the job done. And I said it before this series started. I said it before the playoffs started. I said it. I had the Avalanche Lightning in the playoffs, or in the Stanley Cup final. I did. But I said before the series started, I said that, or not series, I said before the playoffs started, a lot of people were really down on the Tampa Bay Lightning because of how they finished the season. They came in as a 3 seed in their conference. They came in as a 3 seed in their division, which is not ideal. The Panthers and Hurricanes were ahead of them, but they come in as a 3 seed either way. So you're like, you come in as a 3 seed, automatically, like, you're technically the underdog going into that first series. But I said the same thing with the Islanders too. The Lightning, they suffered a lot of injuries late in the year. Braden Point, you were missing Kucherov for the entire year, Stamkos as well. You were missing a lot of key players. They battled some injuries late in the season. I mean, Stamkos, I believe in that first round series, there was a possibility that he was gonna miss a couple games. I believe, or maybe I'm thinking of a different player. But either way, Stamkos was injured towards the end of the season. And I said that everybody's so down on the Lightning. I said that from the start of the playoffs because how they ended their year. But realistically, I still believe that they were one of the best teams in the NHL and one of the best teams in that playoffs. Because if you compare their roster, compare what they do, compare what they did in the season to the other teams, their success is all the way up there with a lot of other really good teams. They're up there with the Knights. They're up there with the Avalanche. Right? I said that from the start. And the Lightning last night and throughout the series showed that, like, this team back-to-back, yet again gets the job done. And yes, the final 5, 6, 7 games of the season might not have been good. But they had injuries. They had some, rough stretches there. And I actually find it funny that they came in as a 3 seed and realistically all along were a 1 seed. Because if they stay healthy, they're a 1 seed. And the Panthers and Hurricanes have breakout seasons. Yeah, no. Everybody jumped on the new team. The Lightning are like the old team in town. They're the team that's been through it. And yet again, who gets the job done? It's the Tampa Bay Lightning. Because they have the talented roster. They have the good coaching. They have the good goalie. All around, they are the more physical and just better team in the league. Everybody in the beginning of this was like, the Tampa Bay is not winning it. Watch out for Carolina. Watch out for the Florida Panthers. The Maple Leafs might make a run. No. All along, it was the Lightning. And I did have the Avalanche winning all, but I had the Lightning getting to there. And I said that it was going to be a toss-up. You could go either way with this. And all these people out there who thought the Hurricanes and Hurricanes and Panthers, no. The Bruins, the Penguins, no. The Lightning are the team with a lot of experience in these big moments, and they get the job done. And last night, I think, secured the conversation. Vasilevsky is the best goaltender. I really do. Shutout in Game 5. Shutout, really? I mean, that's something else. It really is. And nothing against Marc-Andre Fleury, but who got farther in the playoffs? Who led his team all the way? Vasilevsky. I shouldn't say lead. Maybe take that back. Who was a huge part of it. Because he didn't lead. I mean, Kucherov had an amazing season, or playoff. Point, Stamkos, all those guys. Vasilevsky was very good. He was a big part of it as well. And you get into, Palat and Cirelli and Coleman and all those guys like that. I mean, Kucherov, I believe, led them in points. I could check now. Yeah, so Kucherov led them in points in playoffs. 32 points in the playoffs. He had 8 goals, 24 assists. Point was behind him with 23, had 14 goals, 9 assists. So points in the postseason, Nikita Kucherov led them all the way with 32. Goals, Braden Point led them with 14. Assists, Kucherov led them with 24. And penalty minutes, Maroon led them with 37. And plus minus, McDonough led them with a plus 18. McDonough, former Ranger. He's a guy, too, that does not get much talked. He had a good series. He had a good playoffs, 23 games played. He had 8 assists, 8 points, and he had a plus minus of plus 18. Doesn't give any penalties. He's physical. He's one of the more physical guys on that team. That's Maroon. That's McDonough. Those are some of the more physical guys on the team. Those are the guys that will get down in there and they'll get down in the trenches and get down in the boards and get to the puck and they'll rough and they'll push and they'll shove and they'll do everything they can. That's hockey. I mean that's not a dirty move. Pushing and shoving sounds like it should be a penalty. That's not. I mean, pushing and shoving is perfectly fine, but they'll hit, they'll be physical. They'll go 110 miles an hour to a loose puck, and that's what gets the job done. And I said it all year long about the Rangers. The Rangers were missing physicality. This is what happens. When you're physical, when you get shots on goal, when you get the opportunity to take a shot and you take it, I'm not saying you're going to win the Stanley Cup, but that's what the Lightning do so well. They're physical. They get opportunities. When they get an opportunity, they take advantage of that opportunity. I've said that for this entire time. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I've said it. Taking advantage of your opportunities. The Lightning do that so well. And, last night, again, yeah, they scored 1 goal, but that's what I'm saying. They got a really good opportunity. They scored. Right? So that was a very good opportunity for them to score. They got the chance. Now, they did have some other golden opportunities. They didn't make it, but Carey Price, also, you got to give him a huge hand. He might get lost in the shuffle here with everything going on with the Lightning and them winning it and all that celebration of Vasilevsky and all that. But Carey Price had a unreal series as well. And, you look at how Vasilevsky had his series, 23 games played. This is his postseason. 16 wins, 7. He was 16, 7, and 0, which was a total for 16, 3, and 4. 1.90 goals allowed. That's just under 2 goals allowed per game, which is really good. He had 655 saves, 937 save percentage, 44 goals allowed, 699 shots, 45 goals allowed, 700 shots allowed. And then obviously no shootouts, stuff like that. I mean, his total stats here, 1.96 goals allowed per game, 655 saves, like I just mentioned. The time on ice is unreal. 45 goals allowed. That was throughout the postseason. And, 1 goal a game is, I mean, it's over 1. It's like he's in between 1 goal and 2 goals a game, which is really good. About 2 goals a game he was allowed, which is unbelievable, especially when you got an offense that could give you 6 goals. And that's something that's so crazy is, that's how good this Lightning team is. That's how much you can trust this Lightning team in terms of, their goalie, you might only, this, let's say this Lightning team scores 2 goals. Well, you could trust Vasilevsky go out there and give you a 1-goal game. I mean, that's how it was in last night's game. I mean, they scored 1 goal. 1 goal. Vasilevsky's like, all right, I'll shut him down for you. And, even the same thing I mean, if you go throughout the playoffs, when Game 7 against the Islanders, I'm going back here, but Lightning win 1-0. I mean, the Islanders all they had to do was score 1 goal. They didn't. Lightning win. Go to Game 2. Lightning score 3 goals. Vasilevsky shuts them down to 1 goal. So you just look at how it all played out. You look at this game. This is Game 3 against the Islanders. Lightning scored 2 goals. Vasilevsky shuts him down for 1 goal. Right? That's what's crazy. Like, there were so many moments throughout the series, throughout the playoffs, where the Lightning would score 2-3 goals, and Vasilevsky would shut the other team down to 1-2 goals. You know, sometimes scoring 2 goals, and that's what's so crazy about this Lightning team, is scoring 2 goals, you don't feel comfortable. You need to score 3 or 4 to really feel comfortable. Scoring 1 goal with Vasilevsky, you got to feel pretty gosh darn confident. And that's how it was last night. You score 1 goal, and, that was it. Who knew? That goal last night was going to be the decider of the Stanley Cup. And you look at the stats for last night's game. Obviously, the Lightning win 1-0. Colton had the goal. He had 1 goal. McDonough had the assist. Savard also had an assist. Vasilevsky, 22 shots attempted and 22 saves. And you look at Montreal side, not much going there. I mean, you look at the rating, -1, -1, -1, plus minus of -1, -1. Just weren't able to get that job done on offense. You know, they had 22 opportunities, 22 shots, obviously. Just were not able to find one to get to the back of the net. I mean, if you want to beat Vasilevsky, you're going to have to find a way to get more on that. You know, you're going to have to find a way to get more on that. You're going to have to find a way to, get more, because 22 goals is not 22 shots is not enough. And, they did get, I believe in Game 5 or Game 4, they got 21 on net, and they scored 3, but yeah, it's not going to happen again. And Carey Price did everything he could. 30 shots allowed, 1 goal allowed, 30 shots attempted, 30 shots on goal, 1 goal allowed, 29 saves. He did what he needed to do. I mean, he made 29 saves. He almost made 30 saves. And when your offense gives you no production, when there's 6-7 guys in this with a plus-minus rating of -1, like I said, I feel like in a way, this was just a team that they put it all out on the line in Game 4. They just did not come out, with the same amount of energy in Game 5. And that's what happened. That's why 3-0 holes are so hard. 3-1 holes are so hard to come back from. Because you need to put 3 anything. You're down 3-2. Well, Game 6, you're going to have to put a whole lot on the line because you got to force a Game 7. And I know you got to play another game. Like, that's what's so difficult about it. That's what's so hard. Is trying to force, trying to get all these games. Trying to get these wins and stuff. I think we all knew that, down 3-0, I think there was a good chance the Lightning were going to win the series. Canadiens fans out there, if you gave them any sign of hope that maybe they had, with that win on Game 4, you think, okay, maybe there's some sign of hope. Maybe we find a way to win it in Game 5 and come back here and try to win it. And then, that's why I said you got to take game by game. But, I had a feeling that this was going to happen. I had a feeling that they were just going to run out of gas. They just didn't have anything left in the tank. And that's really what happened for the Montreal Canadiens. They just did not have enough left in the tank, and they were not able to get the job done. And, we'll see what the Lightning do the Canadiens do in the off season. This was kind of a very weird run. The North Division was kind of weak. They barely squeaked in. They made a run. It's going to be interesting to see if the Canadiens this off season decide to go all out and say, hey, that was fun, let's do it again. If they decide to keep the same group. If they decide to move on from, some of the guys on this team. If you're a Canadiens fan today, even though you lost, you got to feel awfully proud. You cannot sit here and tell me no Canadiens fans, I don't think, were expecting the Canadiens to make the Stanley Cup. In the middle of the season, people were asking for the coach to be fired. In the middle of the season. And they made the Stanley Cup. How things turned was just unbelievable. It would be interesting to see how they do this offseason, though. Do they go all out? And, go all out for a guy? Do they go all out and try to win it all? Say, oh, wow, we could actually do this. Let's grab another couple more pieces. Or is this one of these runs where they made it, but they're still going to follow their same plan of, I would say the Canadiens going into the season, we're still kind of in a little bit of a restart mode, rebuild, but it's like, I mean, maybe they completely blow off the whole rebuild, take a step back mode and just say, oh, we're going all in. I mean, we made the Stanley Cup, it was a weird run because they got all the way there. It was a very weird run. We'll see how it goes. Reminds me of the Nationals run in 2019. They stunk. Then they played really well. They just got in. They found a way to win in the wild card game with that big error against the Brewers. They find a way to win it all. And then the 2020 last season, which was such a weird year, the 60 games and stuff, they didn't do well. And this season, I talked about a couple days ago, they're playing better baseball, but they're still not playoff right now. So it's kind of one of those things where it's is this the Nationals all over again? They make this long run, next season they're going to be bad, and they're just kind of from there on. It was just an interesting season. But the Lightning, I'll tell you what, I don't think there's any reason to not keep this team together. If this team stays together again, I think they've got to be the obvious. You've got to obviously sit here and say they've got to be another top 3 favorite team to win it all again. I mean, this team continues to do it night in, night out, and season in and season out. And the Tampa Bay Lightning are your 2021 NHL champions. Stanley Cup champions. Not NHL champions. I don't know what I said there. Stanley Cup champions. No one says NHL champions. Oh, look at this. The betting odds, the favorites are out for the 2022 Stanley Cup. So, the Avalanche Golden Knights open as betting favorites in 2021-2022 Stanley Cup odds. I've always said this, and I will always say this. Whoever wins should be the favorite for the next season. They should be, in college football. The number 1 ranked team in the nation should be whoever won it. So this season it should be Alabama. I hate Alabama. I don't like them at all, but it should be. I've always said that. Same thing with college basketball. Baylor should be number 1. Whoever won the championship should be number 1. The Buccaneers. They won the Super Bowl. And the power rankings put them in number 1. I've always said that. Betting favorites, they should probably also be number 1. I know it's hard to do back-to-back, but, why, the Canadian, were the Lightning, I don't know, were the Lightning the betting favorites going into this season? For a team that just won, you got to assume and hope that team could put up the production again. I mean, I don't know if the Lightning are going to go back to back to back, but maybe. We'll see. That's still down the road from here. Alrighty. So, anyway, that's what I got for the Lightning. And, obviously, they win the Stanley Cup. So, back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, Tampa Bay Lightning. And, like I mentioned, this season, finally were able to get it on their home ice. Last season was in a bubble. This year, they were finally able to get it on their home ice in Tampa. Tampa sports fans, by the way, have been spoiled. They've been spoiled the past couple of years. The past year, Buccaneers won a championship. Rays made the World Series. Lightning have won back-to-back. They've been spoiled. But anyway, that's what I got for the Lightning. So congrats to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and good win for them, and they obviously are the champions. All right, so next up here, I want to get into the Home Run Derby bracket. The MLB released the Home Run Derby bracket for the 2021 Home Run Derby, and it looks pretty good. I'm excited for it. I think, Pete Alonso, Ohtani, Soto, Gallo, Olsen, a lot of good guys, a lot of good bats. The balls are going to be flying. I think it's going to be an exciting night, and I'll read the bracket, and not going to give you who I think will win, but give you a couple players that I do think could make a run at it. So we'll get into that coming up next. Alrighty, so we welcome you back here. Shohei Ohtani, Pete Alonso, Fall 2021 MLB Home Run Derby bracket revealed, and obviously the 2021 Home Run Derby bracket has been revealed, and a lot of big names. Obviously, I've always been a fan. I know some people out there, the Home Run Derby is almost like the 3-point contest and the dunk contest and all that stuff. you have all that, and then you obviously have the game and stuff like that. It kind of starts off, your festivities for the weekend. You'll have the home run derby, or not really the weekend. It's kind of a little different time, but you'll have your derby. Then the next night will be, the All-Star game and all that stuff. So, it's kind of an exciting event. I've always said I've liked the home run derby. I've always, enjoyed it. I think I've always thought it was always fun to, see guys launch baseballs 490 feet, maybe get 500 feet. I mean, that's stuff that you don't get to see, every day. You get to see, a lot of guys, go out and just launch baseballs and just launch them. And I think this year it's going to be even more exciting with it being in Colorado. Obviously, Colorado with the thin air, and, balls are going to travel farther. And we've seen that throughout the years at Coors Field. It's not that the dimensions and stuff are small. It's an average stadium in terms of size. It's nothing major where it's like 430 feet dead center. It's nothing crazy. It's a stadium. It's a stadium that's, kind of a normal size, but the one thing that's different with it is the thin air and balls travel farther. And we saw Tatis earlier this season have a really far home run. We've seen him really rake. We've seen him have a really good season. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see what all these players can do. I'm excited to see all the names in it. I'm excited to see all the big names. You got Ohtani, you got Soto, Olsen, Trey Turner, Trevor Story, Alonso, Salvador Perez, Trey Mancini, Gallo, a lot of good names. And it's kind of weird because I feel like this year, you didn't get, I feel like this year you didn't get, like, it wasn't as, kind of pushed out there that, this, the derby, everybody, we need this guy and this guy and this guy. I feel like it was more quietly, done. I feel like players kind of went on their own and joined in and got into the derby. And, it's exciting. A lot of good players and a lot of big names. I feel like this year it's a little different because, we never seen Ohtani. Alonso, we've seen. Perez, I don't remember really recalling ever seeing him. Olsen, Trevor Story. This season, it has a lot of new names in it. I mean, guys that have been around in the league, but have never done a home run derby. And I think that could be exciting because you see guys, if you see the same guy every year, it's going to be like, this guy's in it again. But it's nice to see a variety like Soto. I mean, this is a guy who's got excellent power and can really do well. I mean, it's a guy that's had a great career so far. He's very young. I mentioned about the early in the season. It's a guy who could very well win MVP anytime. A guy who's got a very good power, very good in the field, a special player, and a guy with a bright future ahead of him. It's going to be exciting to watch him. I mean, this guy a guy that can hit a ball far. So I feel like all these guys, although they might not be the biggest names in the world, I feel like all of these guys can really hit far. I mean, Gallo, I believe, had 10 home runs in the past 10 games. Olsen's had an amazing season. I mean, you could make the argument he could be in the AL MVP conversation. Not saying that he should win it, but you could make an argument he could be in the conversation. I believe he's batting 289. You could make the argument. You could also make the argument that, a guy like Ohtani could be in there. Trevor Story's had a good season. Pete Alonso's always a solid player. Mancini with everything he went through, to see him in the home run derby, I think that's really cool. I think this year it's kind of a new twist. I think this year it's going to be exciting. I think there's going to be a lot of long home runs. I think there's going to be a lot of really hard hit balls. I think there's going to be balls flying everywhere around the ballpark. And I ultimately think at the end of the day that you're going to get a winner that's going to hit up to, he's going to have high number of home runs. And we saw that with Alonso again. And, is Alonso going to defeat his crown or defend his crown rather? Or is it going to be, Ohtani taking it away? And I think it's going to be exciting. So let's get into this little article here. So the full 8-man field for the 2021 Major League Baseball Home Run Derby has been revealed. And obviously I just wanted to read this really quickly. And will be officially confirmed that Shohei Ohtani, Los Angeles Angels, Pete Alonso, New York Mets, Juan Soto, Washington Nationals, Trey Mancini, Baltimore Orioles, Matt Olson, Oakland Athletics, Joey Gallo, Texas Rangers, Salvador Perez, Kansas City Royals, and Trevor Story, Colorado Rockies, will take part in the July 12th event. 7 of the 8 participants have been previously announced. Gallo, who went deep twice today against Detroit starter Casey Mize, was the last rumored participant and confirmed by MLB on Wednesday evening. Ohtani, Gallo, Perez, and Olsen all feature prominently on the current home run derby leaderboard. All 4 players have hit at least 20 home runs so far this season. Ohtani is the headliner of the group. The Angels superstar leads the MLB with 32 homers and a .692 slugging percentage. He ranks second in total bases, 202, trailing only Vladimir Guerrero Jr. of the Toronto Blue Jays, 204. Looking ahead to the competition, Ohtani's swing stats also bode well for him being able to make a deep run in the Derby. Per Baseball Savant, Savant.com, Ohtani leads all players with barrel rate of 15.3% per plate appearance. His average home run distance is 415 feet, ranks 14th in MLB. Story average distance 419 feet, and Gallo's 416 are the only challenges in the field ranked higher than Ohtani in that category. Alonso, who is defending home run derby champion after winning it in 2019, isn't hitting at the same level he did when he won the event. The Mets first baseman's having a solid season with 15 homers and a .474 slugging percentage. Putting Alonso in the thin air of Coors Field could certainly play to his strength as a power hitter. The same could also be said of Soto, whose overall power numbers have been disappointment to this point. 10 homers, .438 slugging percentage. Mancini is certainly going to be the sentimental favorite. The Orioles star has been a successful comeback season after sitting out 2020 when he was now to be diagnosed with colon cancer. That is obviously what happened. It's Mancini. He missed all of last season with some health issues, and now he's back this season. So it's really great to see him back playing and him in the home run derby. Since being declared cancer-free in November, Mancini has hit 15 homers with a .450 slugging percentage. Olsen and Perez are reliably consistent power hitters. Olsen is on pace to slug over 500 for the third time since 2017. Perez already has 20 homers and a .509 slugging percentage so far in the first half for the Royals. Story is going to have a home field advantage as the Rockies representative in the field. The last player to win the home run derby on his home field was 2018 when Bryce Harper beat Kyle Schwarber in the finals at Nationals Park. I remember that. That was back when. That was funny because Harper was getting cheered that night. All the home runs, and then that offseason he signed with the Phillies, and then he's been with the Phillies. This is his 3rd year with the Phillies. So. Anyway, let's get to the home run derby bracket. So this is the actual bracket here for the home run derby. So I'm going to give you just kind of all the rounds. So the number 1 seeded Shohei Ohtani will go up against number 8 seeded Juan Soto in the first round. And this is the left side of the bracket. And then you got Salvador Perez, 4 seed, versus the 5 seeded Pete Alonso. So that's that. And then you got 2 seeded Joey Gallo versus 7 seeded Trevor Story. And then you got 3 seeded Matt Olson versus 6 seeded Trey Mancini. Like I mentioned, guys like Matt Olson having a sneaky, really, really good season. I mean, if you had to ask me how round by round will go, personally, I would give you this. I think Alonso wins the first round. I think Olsen wins. And I would have to say, even though Gallo's been good this season, I don't know, something about the hometown favorite, I don't know. I mean, I just don't know. I could see possibly Gallo winning the first round, and also I could see Trevor Story, but I feel like, hometown, he's the guy, crowd's going to get behind him. It just might be one of those things where he might have some more success, but probably Gallo. And I don't know. Ohtani's had a great season. Most home runs ever in an MLB season by a Japanese-born player. Yesterday, he broke that at 32 home runs, and this is only the first half of the season. He's on pace to hit like 64 home runs, which is just remarkable. I think he's going to hit 50. I do. He would have to go through a terrible stretch to not hit 50. But I would have to say, based off of what he's done so far this season, Ohtani, I think, is hitting 50 home runs. But something about Soto, I just don't know. I feel like this could be a guy that could make a run. Yes, his power numbers might be down this season, but he hits a lot of lines. He's a hard hitter. He gets out, exit velo, gets out. he'll pull the ball, give him in his zone. He'll take an inside pitch and drive that. I just feel like in a way, like I think I know a lot of people are gonna go with Ohtani, and Ohtani probably will win against Soto, but don't count Soto out when it comes to winning it. Now, if you're gonna ask me who I want to win, personally, my favorite player probably on here is Soto. I really like Soto a lot. I do. I've liked him since he came up with the Nationals in 2019, and I've liked him since. I don't know why. I like how the way he plays the game. He's passionate. He's fun to watch. He's funny. I've always liked Soto. If there's a guy on here that I would want to win, it's probably him. Not that I'm not rooting for Ohtani. I like Ohtani as well. I think what he's done this season has been excellent. He's been exciting to watch. I talked about him yesterday. If I had to give you 3 players that I think have a great shot at winning, I think Soto does have a chance of winning. I think Ohtani has a golden chance. Actually, I'll give you great chance of winning. Alonso, I think, still has a very good chance of winning. Just because that field in the thin air plays to his advantage. I could see Olsen making the finals, to be honest. I really could. And I think Ohtani. Nothing against Gallo. I don't know if I would say he has a golden chance, because he's going to have to get through Olsen. And he's also going to have to find a way to get through the home guy in Trevor Story, which it's difficult, because Trevor Story, the crowd's going to be behind Story. Story knows that ballpark well, right? I feel like in a way it just might be different with him. I feel like in a way that if you're gonna say who's gonna win, I think you always got to give the home guy. I think we saw Todd Frazier win when he was with Cincinnati. We saw Bryce Harper win it. Right? I think they just, they kind of know. They know more, and they kind of know, where to, what's the best possible area to hit it. Kind of just that kind of stuff like that. And the fans are gonna be behind him. I mean, he's gonna have a lot of energy. The fans are gonna be backing him up. And there hasn't been much to celebrate this season either for the Rockies. It's a golden opportunity to have something to celebrate. Nothing against Perez. I think Alonso wins personally against Perez. Like I mentioned, I don't think Trevor Story and Gallo is going to be that much of a blowout. I think it might be 1, 2, 3 home runs that separate them. I don't think it's going to be some big number where Gallo hits 25 and Story hits 6 or 15 and he loses by 10. I don't think it's going to be something like that. I think it's going to be close. I think it could go either way. You might want to give the advantage a little bit to Trevor Story. Now, who has more power? Who's the better home run hitter? Probably Gallo, but who's home? Who knows the ballpark well? Who's going to have the crowd behind him? It's going to be, it's going to be Story. Now, if Story gets off to a bad start, the crowd might not be behind him. But I'm telling you, if he starts getting on a roll, 3, 4, 5, 6 home runs, we saw that with Harper, the crowd's going to get into it. Story's going to feed off that energy. He could hit more home runs. I think Olsen wins. I think Alonso win. I think Ohtani probably does beat Soto, but I don't think it's going to be a crazy, crazy, crazy thing. I don't think it's a crazy, outrageous state of thing that Soto, it's going to be close. I don't know. I like Salvador Perez. I think he's a great player. I think he's had a great season. I think he's one of the best catchers in the league. I think Alonso's going to beat him. I feel confident about that. And maybe I'm wrong. And I understand Alonso has not had the power he's had this season. But Alonso won it in 2019. And I feel like, he does the same thing. This park plays to advantage. The way he hits the ball, the areas he hits it, this park it plays to advantage. The thin air, all going to go on his side. Now, thin air is going to help every player out. But the way Alonso hits the ball, the exit velo, where he hits it, this is his park. I believe Alonso is going to definitely be successful, I think. I think you can make the argument for a lot of players. I think you can make the argument for Alonso. I think you can make the argument for Soto. I think you can make the argument for Ohtani. I think you can make the argument for Story and Gallo. I think you can make the argument for 4 or 5 players that they have a relatively good shot. I think the 3 really good chances are Ohtani, Alonso, and I think Olsen. That would be my personal opinion on who has the 3 best chances to win. And a long shot, not that Story doesn't have a long... If Story gets off to a good start and the crowd gets behind him, I think you got to say Story's moving on. to the second round. Not saying he's going to win it all, but you got to say that. You got to at least say that. If he gets off to a slow start, crowd's not behind him, he's got to come back from 15, 16 home runs in 3 minutes. It ain't happening. I think it all depends on how Story starts. Because Gallo puts up 22 in the first round, okay. Gallo puts up 22. And you got Story coming up. If Story gets off to a 5-6 home runs in his first 8-swing type start, you're talking about crowd getting behind him. You're talking about him being on pace to completely blow Gallo out of the water. That could be exciting. And that could feed Story going to the next rounds. But I think it's exciting. I think it's going to be fun. I think Ohtani Soto is going to be a fun matchup. I know that's the 1 versus 8. But I think that's going to be a super exciting matchup. And we'll see how it all plays out. Definitely very excited for the home run derby. And, I hope that, I hope that it's good. I want to see close. I've always enjoyed when I watch the derby. I've always enjoyed seeing a guy either make a comeback or seeing it come down to the final couple swings. The final 2-3 swings is always fun. If it's a blowout and you're down by 9 home runs, it's not very fun. But if it's coming down to the final couple swings where that clock's ticking, you got 20 seconds left and you got to hit 2 home runs or 3 home runs, that's always exciting. But yeah, that's what I got for the home run derby. So comment down below who you think will win the home run derby. Ohtani, Soto, anyone, any of the 8 players that's on the field. Comment down below your thoughts. I think it's exciting. I think it's gonna be fun, and I'm excited for it. All right, so let's get into the New York sports update here to finish off the podcast. Today we got the Suns-Bucks. I'm going to give Suns the winning game too. Obviously, like I mentioned, Lightning win 1-0. They win the Stanley Cup. Talked about that earlier. And, as for the MLB yesterday, the Nationals won, Giants won, Diamondbacks won, Cubs won, Cheaters won, Marlins won, Blue Jays won, Brewers won, Angels won, Reds won, Braves won, Tigers won, Rays won, Mets won, White Sox won, Rays won. So Mets won the first game, and the Brewers won the second game. So that moves the Mets' overall record to 45-38 on the season. And the Yankees also won yesterday 5-4. Yankees moved to 44-41 on the season. So the Yankees finally playing better baseball. As for today, we got the Dodgers, Marlins. I'll give Dodgers the win. Cheaters, A's. I'll give Cheaters the win. Diamondbacks, Rockies, give Diamondbacks the win. Blue Jays, Orioles, give Blue Jays the win. We'll get to the Mets in a second. Indians, Royals, give Indians the win. Phillies, Cubs, I'll give Phillies the win. Brewers, Reds, give Reds the win. Twins, Tigers, give Twins the win. And Nationals, Padres. Well, it's going to be a good matchup. Give me the Nationals. Nationals played well recently, past the back-to-back games here. Give me the Nationals. And as for today, we got the Mets and the Pirates. Mets coming in this game 45-38. Pirates coming in this game 32-54. This game comes on today, 7:10 p.m. Eastern Time on SNY. Pirates got JP Brewbreaker on the mound. He's 4-8 with a 4.09 ERA. And the Mets got Taijuan Walker on the mound. He's 7-3 with a 2.44 ERA. The over-under for this game is 7.5. 82% of people think the Mets will win. I think the Mets will win as well. I think they do win. I think the Mets get the job done, and I think they win. This is a start of a very long series against the Pirates. So this is actually very weird. Technically, the Mets here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Technically, the Mets here have a 7-game set coming up against the Pirates. So it's kind of funny because the Mets technically have a 7-game set against the Pirates. Because here's how it is. So they have a 4-game set starting up today. Will start today, go until Sunday. Now, obviously then you have the All-Star break. You return on Friday, July 16th. The Mets will then go to Pittsburgh to play 3 games. So it's very interesting. This series will be 7 games technically. Because they'll play 4 this weekend at home. This is the first game of 4-game set. And then they'll All-Star break. Then they'll come back on Friday, July 16th and start up a 3-game set in Pittsburgh against the Pirates. So it's funny. Because this is like a 7-game stretch. 4 games starting tonight. Then you have the All-Star break and then another 3 in Pittsburgh. Don't see that very often. That's just how the schedule is. A weird thing in the schedule. So 7 straight games coming up against the Pirates. So Mets fans, you should not have to be worried of who they're playing. Who are the Mets playing today? For the next 7 days, for the next 7 games, it's going to be the Pirates. Obviously, you have the All-Star break in between as well. But as for today, we got the Yankees as well. Yankees come in this game 44-41. Mariners come in this game 45-42. This game comes on today. It's 4:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on MLB Network. The Yankees got Jordan Montgomery on the mound. He's 3-3 with a 4.17 ERA. And the Mariners got Luis Gilbert on the mound. He is 2-2 with a 4.10 ERA. The over-under for this game is 8.5. 63% of people think the Yankees will win. I will join those 63%. I think the Yankees get the sweep today. We've been playing really good baseball. So I think we've been playing good baseball, and like I said, it's just one of these things where if you're Logan Gilbert's on the mound for the Mariners. So Logan Gilbert's on the mound, Jordan Montgomery's on the mound for the Yankees. The Yankees have been playing good baseball, and it's almost like we went out west. We're away. You're kind of away from all the media and stuff like that. It's one of those things for the Yankees where it's just they're playing good baseball, and it's really that, and it's exciting, and I'm happy about it, and we got to continue to keep this up because we're playing good right now. As for fantasy baseball, I'm currently losing 177-71. Not going good there, but today I've got going Will Smith, Luke Voigt, Jake Cronenworth, Gene Segura, Marcus Semien, Carlos Correa, Matt Olson, Christian Yelich, Whit Merrifield, Avisail Garcia, Josh Harrison, David Peralta, and Franmil Reyes, and Zach Eflin's on the mound. So I made a roster move yesterday. I placed Manuel Margot on the IL. I talked about that yesterday. Placed him on the IL, and I added David Peralta. So he's right in my starting lineup. 251 batting average, 31 runs, 4 home runs, 40 RBIs, 1 stolen base at 164 points. His position rank is 15. He averages 2 points per game, and he's rostered in 56.2% of leagues. So I picked him up. I needed another outfielder, so I decided to pull the trigger and take him. Hopefully that works out. Hopefully he starts to play better, I guess. I mean, he hasn't been amazing this season, but he's been, I guess, good enough. So I picked him up, and it's kind of one of those roster moves. I'll have him on my roster, but once Manuel Margot comes back, he will probably be released. Not trying to be negative, but he probably will. Just kind of a roster holder for the moment, and kind of his little, I guess you could say, tryout, because if he starts to play well, I might think about keeping him on the roster. So I added him. That's just another move I had to make. Injuries this season. So my IL is filled. Glasnow's on the IL, Bregman's on the IL, and Manuel Margot's on the IL. One thing I wish they would add, I don't think you could do this in fantasy, is if they had a long-term IL. Your guy's on a 60-day IL, you put him on a long-term IL. Instead of letting him sit there on the IL. Like, have one spot for a long-term IL. 60-day IL. He has to be on, the 60-day. Or he just has, because, technically, Glasnow, he's going to sit on my IL. If another guy gets injured and Glasnow's still on my IL, I don't want to give up Glasnow. Because if he comes back, he's a big contributor to my team. But at the same time, I don't want to just hold up a roster spot with another guy in the IL. So I gotta hope Bregman. Gotta hope, number one, you gotta hope Manuel Margot. This is not anything long. And Bregman, you gotta hope that he comes back sooner rather than later. I would assume he's coming back probably after the All-Star break. So you gotta wait there, but we'll see how it all plays out. So with all that being said, though, that will do it for the podcast here today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. As always, another good podcast in the books. Tomorrow will be Friday, so we'll finish off the week tomorrow with another podcast tomorrow. So hopefully you all enjoyed it. I will see you all back here tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.